Hello and welcome. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a tool that I've been hearing a lot about in the dev world, OpenCode AI. The big question is it really the free, powerful alternative to the big players that it's crocked up to be? Well, let's find out. So, if you're using an AI coding assistant like Cursor, you know the drill. You're in the zone, coding away, and then boom, you hit a usage limit. Or maybe you're just getting tired of those monthly subscription fees. It's a real pain point. But what if there's a better way? All right, let's just lay it all out. On one side, you've got the tools we all know. They're powerful, but they come with pricey subscriptions, frustrating limits, and they're locked into their own models. And then there's OpenCode AI. It's promising the exact opposite. Completely free, zero usage limits, and access to powerful open models. I mean, it sounds almost too good to be true, right? So let's put this contender under the microscope. We're going to take a really close look at what OpenCode is serving up and see if it can actually deliver on that massive promise of unlimited AI-powered development. Now, this is a super important point to get your head around. OpenCode isn't trying to replace your favorite editor like VS Code. Not at all. Think of it more like a powerful AI copilot, a layer that sits on top of your existing setup and just supercharges your entire workflow. And here are the features that really make it stand out. The big one, for sure, is getting free access to the GLM 4.7 model. That thing is a beast for code generation. It can spin up entire full-stack apps from just a single prompt. And, did I mention, it is completely free to use. That right there is the core of what makes this so interesting. Okay, enough talk. It's time to put OpenCode to a real test. We're not going to ask it to write some simple little function. No way. We're going to see if it can build a pretty complex, full-stack habit tracker app completely from scratch. Let's see how this thing handles a real-world challenge. First things first, getting it installed. You've got two options. You could go with the command line interface, but honestly, it's a bit of a headache. No mouse support, all keyboard, it's just clunky. The clear winner here, and my strong recommendation, is to just use the setup file. It gives you a proper user interface, and it's just way, way easier to get going. So here's the key to using this thing effectively. You don't live inside OpenCode. The best workflow is a hybrid one. You start your project like you always do, in VS Code or whatever you use, get that basic folder structure set up, then you pop over to OpenCode, import that folder, and let the AI do the heavy lifting. It's really the best of both worlds. Now, we did not go easy on the AI. We threw a seriously ambitious prompt at it. We asked for a responsive app that works on mobile, desktop, and web. We wanted a very specific, trendy liquid glass look, a GitHub-style activity graph, and full offline support. I mean, this was a serious stress test. And the results? It took about an hour to generate the whole thing. And what was really fascinating was watching it work. You could see the AI logically break down our big, complicated prompt into a checklist of smaller tasks before it even wrote a single line of code. It was pretty cool. Okay, let's get real for a second. This is not magic. The code it spat out was not perfect. It had bugs, it had some errors, which is honestly what you should expect from any AI model right now. The big takeaway here is that you still need to be a developer. You got to get in there, read the code, and do some manual debugging. So after we rolled up our sleeves and did that manual cleanup, we actually had a fully working application. So now let's take a look at the final product and see what it could do. And honestly, the result was pretty impressive. It totally nailed the liquid glass UI. We got a full analytics dashboard, and all the core functionality for adding and tracking habits was there. The offline data backup using JSON files worked like a charm, and it even tried to create multiple color themes. Though, full disclosure, we had to go in and fix a few of those manually. For me, this was the absolute showstopper. The exact same codebase, with no changes, ran perfectly as a web app in the browser and as a native standalone Windows application. This really shows you the power of combining a cross-platform framework like Flutter with an AI that knows how to use it. All right, here is a critical pro tip you need to know. For features that need to touch your computer's file system, like exporting data, the AI isn't going to do everything for you. You have to manually go into the platform-specific files, like the Android manifest, and add the right permissions. It's a small step, but it's absolutely vital. So after putting this tool through its paces, what's the final word? Is this the game-changing free AI assistant that we've all been hoping for? Let's break it down. The pros here are absolutely huge. It's free, you get unlimited access to really powerful models, and it is fantastic for generating the boilerplate for a full-stack cross-platform app. But the cons are just as real. It's not a replacement for your main IDE, the code will always need debugging, and that UI can take a little getting used to.
And I saved the best tip for last. This is kind of hilarious, but it works. While it's supposed to be unlimited, if you ever do hit some weird, mysterious limit, the fix is brilliantly simple. Just uninstall the app and reinstall it. Boom. You get a totally fresh start. It really drives home that no limits philosophy.
So it really all boils down to this one question. You're getting access to some incredible, unlimited AI generation power for free. The trade-off is that you have to be willing to learn its specific way of doing things, and more importantly, you have to be ready to roll up your sleeves and fix the code it writes. For a lot of people, I think that trade-off is going to be more than worth it.